Yes, Noel, how are you?
I'm good. You've gotten there?
Yes, here. Give me a second. Let me switch on the light.
Okay.
Proper. Yes, now, and now I can see how light skinned I am.
Yeah. So,
Yes, how?
background.
Come again?
I can see you clearly against the background. You look like you're somewhere in a cave, but I can see you.
Unfortunately, the light is not lighting
Yeah,
here.
it's okay. It's fine. We can do
See,
that.
let's see, let's see, let's
Oh,
see, let's see, let's see, let's
okay,
see.
better.
Yeah, it's a bit better.
Yeah, that's better.
All right. Yes, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing okay.
Uh-huh.
So interesting. Thank you for really pushing and really following up on me so that we do this live together.
Most
Um,
definitely.
I had not forgotten about it, but I love how you're very passionate about what you want, especially as a young person, and you go. And were it not for the extra, bit of we need to do this, maybe I would have forgotten it. But I'm doing fine. And you, how are you? How have you been?
Um, Good. Very, very exhausted. It's been a very, very long day,
Yeah,
and yeah, just can't wait for it to end.
yeah.
Okay. Then shall we get down to it?
Let's go.
All right. Good people. As you know, the name is Muhluri. Has never changed. I don't think it won't change actually. Never changed. So I am here joined by Noel. Let me quickly give the platform to her so that quickly I rather man. Noel, over to you.
Thank you so much. My name is Noelle Museshi Murunga. I am a daughter. I am a friend. Beyond that, I'm also a youth advocate. I work in the sexual violence space. I work with an international nonprofit called the Brave Movement, where we work towards ending childhood sexual violence, and got acquainted with this amazing young advocate during our workshop in South Africa as part of our movement building. And we were having a very informal conversation over tea, just talking about online safety. And Muhluri, please, I hope I'm not
Muhluri.
Muhluri, uh, getting your name. He talked about us following it up on social media because we're even talking about the media spaces. So it's really such a pleasure to be here to learn from this guy. It's not even just about, it's actually a conversation about, as young people, how do we protect ourselves and to protect children from online safety. And looking forward to learning and growing together and discovering new things about online safety in this live. Over to you.
Thank you very much. You mentioned in your bio that you are a youth activist with Brave Movement. So can you like quickly just tell me like about your journey, like how has the journey been? Because you know like but if there is yeah, what does the saying go? Hey, I'm butchering sayings now. So it says that um oh, remember where you go, you must remember. Yeah, okay,
Where is
like what I'm trying to say is that
from?
there's no tomorrow without a past, right?
Yeah,
Being that yes, it's the three things: it's the past, it's the present, and it's the
yeah.
future. So now, being that this is the present you, and we don't know what the future has for us, can you please tell us about your past? Like, can you break down?
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my journey as a youth advocate, before I get to the Brave Movement, I started along as a volunteer. So when I was in
Mhm.
campus, my background is public health, and when I was in campus, we had a problem, a challenge. Let me call it a challenge here in Kenya and many Eastern African countries. So we had a spike in teenage pregnancies. Many young adolescents and children, I say, even those who are below, you could find that there are cases below the age of 13, 12-year-olds, 9-year-olds getting pregnant. And it was like a silent pandemic that we had. So this happened during my time in campus. I was studying public health. Then this opportunity came to volunteer with a youth-led partnership project between adolescents in Kenya, young people in Kenya, and in Denmark. And I said, why not? We're seeing these cases on TV, and we're calling on the government to do something. Wherever I'm seated, there's something I can do. So I joined this project or movement of young people, and we really used to do the basics. We used to go to high schools and talk to adolescents about sexual reproductive health, and also talk to them about sexual violence. We talk to them, how do they protect themselves, how do they safeguard themselves, and that really spiked and stirred up the passion in me to continue doing it even more. So I did this while I was in campus, and the more you do something, the more you discover the gravity of the situation, the more you also grow as a person. And it's in this that I discovered passion for advocacy, particularly when it comes to children and youth. And along the journey, after campus, continued along with the process, and we scaled it up a bit. We were working with children in school. I would call this grassroots. Then we looked, how do we link it up with policy? Because if it does not support you, then unfortunately your efforts would not be sustained. We started even working with governments, organizing convenings, and this slowly boosted my confidence. And also through this, I got the continue doing that. And fast forward, as I continued growing along in my journey, getting slightly older, I'm still a young person, but getting slightly older, the issue of sexual violence came to play. And sexual violence particularly hits hard for me because when sexual violence happens to children, it takes away the innocence of a child. It's literally stealing away the innocence of this child. And if you look at this, it has ripple effects that continue even to the life, adult life of the person who's been violated if they don't go through healing and that. So this was also a passion of mine, and I got an opportunity to join the Brave Movement to support the ongoing work in Africa to end child sexual violence. Particularly, childhood sexual violence has a lot of stigma in everywhere in the world. People don't talk about it. People shy away from it. And this is what I'm doing now, and I couldn't be more happy that I'm doing this. However, my journey started as a volunteer. Onwards, we keep on with the journey.
Most definitely, most definitely. And being that honestly, it's very very important for the rights of children to be taken as universal rights. Here's the thing that I've actually noticed. Like children's rights actually fit in everywhere, right? It's not specific, like 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 it is not designated to a specific department which is supposed to like deal with children because they fit in everywhere, right? The right to health children are there, the right to education are obviously there. Like children's rights are everywhere, right? And then so and being that now we are what day is it today? Yeah.
It's on
So being
Friday,
that yes,
30th.
being that today is the 30th. I thought it was a Monday. Being that today is the 30th. Being that today is the 30th, and we're actually commemorating child protection in South Africa and actually around the world. So the theme for this year is actually like working together to end violence against children. And then one of the violence that you actually mentioned is sexual violence. Now, in our previous session, you mentioned a very, very nice and wonderful link between sexual violence and online violence, being that we live in an era where like everything is being done online. I'm talking to you online as you speak. You see? So can you like quickly like break down the link between online violence and uh like child violations?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. When we talk about sexual violence, we usually think of the perpetration that happened physically. What we forget to
Mhm.
remember is that sexual violence is linked. The online beat of sexual violence, the online offline beat are interlinked. You cannot demarcate them because many times we have seen children are groomed online before penetration happens offline. I will give an example of a project that Brave Movement has worked on. As Brave Movement, we had a film that gave real life of survivors of sexual violence. And when you look at when they share their experience and their story about what you would look, there's one particular story where one girl was being groomed online. So it started online, this stranger that she did not know, and then over time, after he had gotten her confidence, then it went on to offline. So can we meet and can we do that? So the online spaces are hotbeds for sexual violence. And I would even just mention a couple of abuses sexually that happen online. And some of us have heard of extortion, where people are exploited in terms of monetary form. You might your photo may have, even people create deep fakes, may not even be your real photo. People create these photos and they extort you your money, telling you if you don't give us this money, we're going to expose that. I've talked about grooming that happens. There's even live streaming of children doing sexual acts online, and even sex trafficking. Many of us have heard that people are being sold for as sex trafficker, as sex traffickers usually recruit children online. So it starts online where they pretend they maybe are their age mates, and once they get the confidence, they get the trust of these children, they're able to take it further along. So these are some of the risks that we have. And it's not even just about sexual violence. Even in terms of online safety, we've seen cyberbullying and online harassment going on. Young people, children being trolled because of how they look, because of something they said. And this impacts a lot on their mental well. And the online space just has really a lot of a lot of risks. Nowadays, um if I ask you how many hours do you spend on your phone, many of us are addicted to social media. You are just scrolling and aimlessly, there's nothing that specifically you're looking at. So we spend so much time online, and perpetrators nowadays, they know you don't have to go to a physical place and spot someone. You can start online and start chatting up someone, and once that relationship is built, then you can do what you desire to do, making it now raising up the alarm. What do we do, because our digital spaces are no longer safe for our children and also for us.
Yeah, that is very, very like heartbreaking to actually hear that thing. That like we live in an era by like now children and like instead of us getting like the physical contact of a parent, now they just give you a phone, they click a comelon, and then you come on, and then that's how you're raised. Like you're addicted to the screen. Like I have a niece. She's
Yeah.
4 years old.
Yeah.
She knows that to unlock my phone. She knows that to go to YouTube, search for Comelon. She even knows like majority of like these Amapiano songs and their dance moves. Meanwhile, her uncle, I was on social media first. I don't know how to dance. I don't know how to sing. I don't even know the songs. So yeah, it's a very unfortunate
Mm.
thing being that like as a child, man, like the one thing that I actually like used to enjoy about being a child, being that I also just recently graduated from being a child. Um,
Congratulations
it's basically like
on graduating into adulthood. Welcome to adulthood.
yes, not nice. I want to go back. You see, so like the one thing that I used to actually like admire is the feeling of always being safe,
Yeah.
like like the feeling of always being protected. You see, because like as a child, I used to know that if if I get bullied, I'll go and tell my brother. I'll go and tell my dad. I'll go and tell like someone older than me. I'll go and tell my mother, right? So now we live in that era of like now when something happens online, it has become normalized to the fact of like like no longer see the point in like reporting it. For example, let's take it that you're in class, you're sleeping, someone takes a picture, they post the picture. We've been seeing TikTok videos of like children in like of like young people in a classroom whereby like someone is sleeping, they just take in the picture, they upload it, and then it becomes a
Yeah.
meme. So
Yeah.
So like I want to like what role can schools play? What roles can schools play? What role can parents play? Excuse me, to ensure that their children are actually protected online, and to ensure that like the children are not being cyberbullied. Because here in SA there was a story a couple of years ago
Yeah.
of a young girl by the name of
Mm,
Funo,
mm,
who got bullied by her schoolmates online on the WhatsApp groups. Being that, remember, like like as I've explained before, we live in an era of the 4IR. So like now instead of having a physical textbook, we have a textbook via
yeah.
PDF. So like how teachers actually like distribute those textbooks is like they will create a group chat for the entire class.
Yeah.
And then being that we are children, we are very, very naughty.
Yeah.
We will create a separate group without the teacher. That is where we actually like get to bully each other. Right. So what happened is like a like she was being bullied in that particular group. Then she decided to end her own life, which is very, very unfortunate to like see a young person actually ending their life because of, uh, of of something which could have been prevented. So I want to know like what roles can parents, schools, and the society at large play to ensure that children are protected.
Yeah, definitely. That's an unfortunate happening, and we don't need to get there again so that we take action. And I'm a Pan-African. I love to describe myself as a Pan-Africanist. And there's an African proverb that says, a society that does not show its children they are loved, the child will burn the whole village for them to feel the warmth of the fire. So first of all, even society, what value are we giving our children? Do we see them as important? Do we see them as key players when it comes to even our own development in the societal cultural structures we have? Where do we place our children? Are they at the bottom or are they our priority? Because if you look at it 20 years, 50 years from now, right now in Africa we're looking at Agenda 2060, which is basically a roadmap or a blueprint for making Africa a global leader when it comes to social and economic matters. So if we do not place these children who are going to be these leaders in 2063, if we do not value them when they're children and protect them from all these things that are really fighting to take away their potential when they're still young, then when you're looking at Agenda 23, that does not happen. So the question is, what value are we giving our children? That's the first bit. And before I now
Mhm.
go to society itself, I would go to the children themselves. The children need to be educated in our schools. What do our curricula carry? Before we give them this tablets and they do, the digital revolution has come in handy because it has really made things very simple and we're able to learn quickly and things are simplified with that. But then do we teach our children the dangers related with these gadgets that they're using? So number one, educate the children about the risks. And what are some of the risks? Let them know about online grooming. Teach them how to spot online grooming. Even create an environment where when they see something is wrong, they'll be able to open up. Let not our children be scared of us, of us as elderly people and also their parents, that if I tell my mom that there's this guy who was telling me to do inappropriate things, my mom will ask me, what site did you go to? Instead of them listening, now they point the finger at the children. So educating them on the risk, educating red flags. When you're having a conversation and you notice this and this is happening, then you need to report. Educate them on even the privacy settings that are there. Right now, we give our children our devices, our location settings are on. People can actually find out this child is here. We don't teach them about what to share. Some of us, we even overshare on these social media platforms. By the time a perpetrator comes, they already know what to do and how to do it. So how do we teach our children how to use the digital spaces responsibly? That's number one. Because first, if the children are empowered, heard, they're able to notice that there's a challenge here, there's a potential problem, and they're able to reach out. Then when it comes to parents and society, we need to get to a point where children and parents are friends with each other. Even as for me, it's a challenge. When I become a parent, a few years from now, I need to raise my children in a manner that they will trust me. They will see me as their friend. You know, I will not always be
I,
child come to. Sorry.
Noelle, just to
Yes, please go ahead. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I'm struggling to hear you. Yes, I'm struggling to hear you.
Oh, I don't know what could be
I'm
the.
not sure if it's my connection.
Is it
Okay.
better?
Yes, it's a bit better. I'm just trying to see you now, but I can hear you. That's
Oh,
good. So yeah, we'll just work with what we have now.
technology. It happens. We will carry on. But if you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
let me know the way you did, and we can continue. So also, I was talking about teaching our children that the dangers that are there, the good and the bad of the digital space. Something I also say about posting and sharing online. If you can't say it, if you can't speak it out in person, don't post it online. There's no need to share or overshare things online that you know that you can't even say them physically. That's a key. Can you hear me? Connection.
I
Can you hear
lost you
me? Am I
again. I lost you again. Yes, I can hear you. I'm not sure. Can you try resetting your connection
okay?
from your side?
We're having some connection challenges, but if I'm back, I can. You can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
You may continue.
So creating that environment where parents and their children are friends and they can talk about these challenges. And this is a societal cultural issues because one thing I love about African culture is the respect that we have built with the elderly versus the young ones. But when it gets to a point where it escalates, where the elderly are too far off, where they cannot be reached by the young ones, then the society will not thrive because the young will always feel like we're on our own. So the parents and society at large, let us create environments, safe environments where our children can come. The teachers in school, how do they talk to these children? Do they create safe environments where children can come and say this and this happened, or they can ask questions? Because we fear a lot to talk about contentious issues. Like even when you come to the matters of sexual violence, sexual and reproductive health, it is very difficult to find parents and children sitting down. They leave that to teachers. Sometimes teachers do that when they're able to, and sometimes not. So let us create an open environment where we are able to have dialogue with our kids and find out what's not going on or what's going on. And then finally, on the policy level, the government and all the stakeholders involved need to put in place structures that protect children. These devices that we're using, we need to see Meta having safety by design incorporated. They won't just say it's then your responsibility. From the time they're inviting their software designers, they need to look at what are the risks that are involved when it comes to children and their safety and put it in their design and not say, oh, so we are reactive. This has happened, so we want to react and create a safety feature. So it's a whole society-wide approach, and I love that you asked that question. And if you're able, each of us is able to take up our responsibility in that, then we'll be able to put in place measures to protect our because it's possible and we bear that responsibility.
Like, thank you very much for sharing that. Uh, like at the end of the day, we're in this together, whether you're young, whether you're old. Because
Yeah.
as an old person, you can still get bullied online.
Yeah.
As an old person, you can still get bullied online. Uh, I remember last year there was one of the modules who was campaigning for Miss SA. She was bullied a lot to the point where like I think she was it. I'm not sure the story, but I think she left and went back to Nigeria to go and compete there. You see, so like this is an epidemic.
Yes.
Is not is it, yes, it does not target. It knows no boundaries. Whether you're young, whether you're old, Because now my grandmother knows how to use TikTok. What if someone goes online and bullies my
Yes.
grandmother? You see, and so,
I
that's
hear you.
a very, very
Yeah.
epic thing. So let's talk with okay, let's talk about what's this about how parents can actually ensure that their child is safe online, because you mentioned that yes, yes, we do know that there is a generational gap between like between the both of us. So like how can parents actually like ensure that they like their young ones actually safe online? You mentioned what was this the children see that that no one reads, because like whenever I want to start Instagram, I'll just say skip, 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 then and then I'm there. So like people actually like are not aware of the parental guidelines. And remember, if you don't know about something, you either become a victim of that particular thing or a perpetrator of that particular thing. So I want to know like what role can actually like parents play to ensure that their child are not actually perpetuating cyber crimes online, and they actually and then like how can and then if their child is being a victim of those particular cyber
Yeah.
offenses, how can they ensure that their child is like basically how can they deal with it?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. So, building on from what I said, number one, building trust. Trust is it. If people trust you, they will approach you and they will tell you what's happening. And that's the only way for you to know that this is happening in my child's life. If you don't build trust, then you will never know until you hear it has gone viral, maybe, or you hear it from someone else. So, build trust. Number two, practical steps. Now, these are practical steps that parents can take in some of this social media platforms. Like I've seen on Meta, although they have rolled it out in a couple of countries in the global minority, in the UK, in Canada, in the US, they are still yet to roll it out here. But in some of these apps, if you go on Google, if you go on YouTube, there are parental controls that parents can actually go and restrict. Even it happens even for the local air television. Like I know for service providers, you're able to restrict what kind of content your child is able to you have a password with that, so your child cannot access such content, and you're also able to monitor what your child is doing online. And I believe there are apps that are there for that, and I know you're the guru for those apps that I hope you'll be sharing with everyone, so you're able to do. And as I say this, I'm drawn back to building trust, because when you start monitoring someone, like I'm seeing you, that's part of the preventive measures. But build trust. There's nothing that will always supersede building trust. This should be like a second line of defense, where you know what they're doing. In case they bypass that, then you're able to go and correct. Because if you haven't built trust and you realize your child is engaging in maybe web pages that are not safe, how then will you go back to them and talk to them? Haven't built that trust. So even as we put this second line of defenses, then you need to have already created the environment. Number three, practical things. I also don't blame parents, because I don't know if I'm not sure parents have enough education on the online spaces. Many of the parents today are like, these online things are new. I don't know them. They're so much. They're sometimes overwhelmed. So even them, without many of them, from my experience, even in the rural, let's talk about the rural areas, with them not understanding these spaces, it's difficult for them to support their children. So also parents need to educate themselves. Yes, it's new. The digital space is coming fast and wild, but let them take time to also educate. As they spend their time on their phones, they can look at the current online threats we are having. That's a personal step parents can take, educating themselves. We have something in I think in Kenya and maybe other African countries, where we have WhatsApp communities for different things. Let them share. Let this be spaces, advocacy spaces, where parents share information on online safety, and let them get information from these spaces, as part of educating and empowering themselves, so that they're able to support their children. Also, parents in schools, parents have their voice. If in schools, they can go to their schools, and when it comes to even protecting their children, because we know also violations happen in school, they can speak out and ensure that the quality of education the children are getting is not just the quality, but what are they getting? Could we incorporate online safety in that? That would be another way for parents to do that. And ultimately, with the support of society, I talked about the linkage between policy and practice. If you do not have supporting policy structures that protect your children online, then we'll be doing a lot of yapping. So parents can push with the support from society, with the various responsible governments, could be starting with local governments to now the national governments. We need regulations and policies that support our children and ultimately protect our children from online safety. Yes, I would pause there on that.
Thank you very much. So remember, I gave this engagement of ours a very, very nice theme of being a digital defender. So I want to know, like, what does a digital defender in 2025 like? What does that mean to you?
Sorry, I didn't get that question. You're buffering a bit.
Oh, I'm very, very sorry about that. I was saying,
Yes.
remember I gave this I guess nice engagement of ours while I was doing the post and the concept, the
Yeah.
theme of being a digital defender.
Yeah.
So like I want to know, like, being that you are also a digital defender in your own right, what does it mean to you?
Defender makes me think of Avengers, those superheroes, Superwoman. Really a
Mm-mm.
question. I reflecting on that question, being a digital defender means first of all taking responsibility. Because there's that bit where we say we need to be protected. There's a lot coming on our way. And even according to the law, where you have a law, there's the right and the responsibility. There's the freedom and the responsibility that comes with that freedom. So when you pose that question, what does it mean to be a digital defender? Number one, first, it means to be responsible. Responsible in what ways? Number one, even the content that I share as a person, as an individual, is it empowering content? Is it content that actually attracts, the wrong kind of attention? Is it content that educates, that empowers people on online safety? If I'm a digital defender, then that should be a priority. Share. You might not, go to the markets with a megaphone, but the platforms you have, these are opportunities for you to share. So taking it up as a personal responsibility before you even establish, let's say, what parents can do and what society and what the government can do. That's being part of a responsible citizen. So responsibility is one thing that we need to get. And I would really, really hammer it in. Number two, being a digital defender means speaking up, because many times you see a lot of these things happening, even some of our friends, and you see elderly people sharing content appropriate. But up, we don't call them out that this content is not appropriate. We say if it does not affect me or my child or my niece or nephew, it does not affect me, which is a lie. It's a lie, because it affects this person today, tomorrow it affects you. And the digital space, if you look at the global www world wide web, it's really interconnected. So today I mean, tomorrow the algorithms will enable me to see it. So speak up when you see something wrong happening. It's also part of taking responsibility. So able to, like the young people in this, who maybe will catch on this after that. Being a digital defender means even taking it up and educating your parents and letting them know, yes, these are the pros of this side, these are the cons of this side. If you are the other bit is also, if you're interacting with children, could be in your churches, in your social gatherings. We really love social gatherings of protecting themselves online. So it's taking the responsibility. Buffering. Am I back? Yeah.
Yes, yes, you're buffering now. Now you're back.
Yeah. So it's taking that personal responsibility And well, you may not build Rome in a day. Rome was not built in a day. But if you take up that personal responsibility and you spread it along, it's like a ripple effect. And this just I will share something that really pushes me. It's a quote by Mother Teresa. She says that I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone in the water and create a ripple effect. When you were small, we used to throw stones in water and you see the ripple going until the end of the lake. So you can think your effort, like the IG live we're doing, we might think, okay, this is just an IG live. Even the rooster that you're hearing in the background says, yes, yes, agreeing to what I'm saying. And we can think it's just, just a routine thing. But because of what social media helps is this message will go and it will go. And that's how we are able to create change. Speak up, say it. The moment you start talking about it, people will start talking about it. And that's how we'll be digital superman and the way you're calling it digital defender.
Thank you very much. Like, I wouldn't have put it any better. You cooked.
Uh, thank
Yes. You spoke about like young people taking accountability of their
you.
actions, right?
Yes,
So I want to know, like, how can we as young people actually like stand up for ourselves and our
yes.
friends if we see harmful behavior online?
Very good question. And very interesting question. How can we stand up for ourselves and others online? Even as I was reflecting upon this and just looking at what are some of the things that we as young people can do as digital advocates.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One thing that young people need to know is that we've really for a long time pushed about youth involvement, meaningful youth engagement. We want to have seats at the decision making table. We don't want to be in the menu. We'll pull the seat for ourselves. And what young people need to understand that it just doesn't happen overnight. Like even for you, from understanding your background, which is truly amazing, like kudos and more grace to you. May you continue doing tremendous work. There is a place where you started, you educated yourself, you were mentored, and you got to this place. I will go back to responsibility because many times we talk about rights. How do we protect? We forget about the responsibility. One, as young people, you need to be educated. Educate yourself, take it upon yourself instead of just scrolling on TikTok the whole day. Tell yourself, this week I'm going to set aside 30 minutes to learn on digital safety. And instead of maybe doing just random scrolls on Instagram, look at what digital safety means, and that is educating yourself, empowering yourself, so that even when you speak, you're not speaking out of emotion, because there's a bit where you can speak out of emotion, but also you can speak out of a place of being informed. So let us challenge ourselves to educate ourselves on online safety. Yes, we know, but we can know more. With AI, what are some of the challenges with AI, and what can we do? Educate. Number two, young people also need to be engaged. So do you, the way you and I know you're really good at engaging, being engaged. What are some opportunities to talk about what you're saying? Sometimes we say that some of these opportunities are high level that we cannot access, but one space we have is social media. This is a place where you can engage people, you can share your message, and it can go and reach those people it needs to reach. Maybe the first video you'll do, you won't get traction, but consistency, build consistency. So I've said the first thing is educate yourself. Educate. Number two, get engaged, get involved with these things. Number three, network. Young people need to be networked. Um, um, this IG live started because we met at a workshop in maybe Johannesburg, and I'm based in Kenya, and we said it would be nice to follow up. So the networks we're building, and from this there'll be another network, because human beings, people support you through human beings. One thing, let me use this. I was challenged. We say that sometimes people can pray and say, God send help, and God sends help through people. So it's important for us to network, because your network will enable you to get to the next sector. That is for young people. And the more you build your network, the more you're able to talk about these pressing issues. that really are important to you. That is taking up the responsibility. And of course, when the opportunity comes, let young people show up. Show up when you're prepared. Show up on time. Don't show up and say they want a young people, so you go there all dressed the way you want. Look at this space. This is what it demands. This is what I need. Prepare yourself so that even these people you're talking to will listen to you. I know we've gotten to a place where we say, you can just be yourself and all that, which is amazing. Being yourself, being authentic is the best. And as we're being ourselves, it is important for us to know the rules of engagement. When you're speaking to a policy maker, it might not be the same way you're speaking to a fellow youth, because there's that language that you need to have. So that goes to how do we educate ourselves so that we're empowered to take up this. And if you're able to do this all together, then we're able to sustain our message and push it across. And the other bit that we tend to forget, the fourth thing, is mentorship. Many of us, young people, have a lot of energy and we dream big, which is amazing. But many of us do not subject ourselves to mentorship. It is very unfortunate if both of us believe we know everything and there's no one guiding us. They say there's nothing new under the sun. So there are people who've already gone through the experience, that if we submit ourselves to mentorship, and something that we need to learn as young people, submission does not mean subversion. Submit ourselves to mentorship. That will enable us to grow. You will not need to make the same mistakes these people have made. You will learn from their same mistake. Mentorship is very important. Who is that person in that space that will enable you to go to the next level? You may be not even in your country, but you can listen to how they speak, what they share, mentorship. And finally, the fourth thing, as I wrap this question up, is accountability. Are we accountable as young people? Do we, as we take up responsibility, do we sit to evaluate what is the impact of these decisions that I have made? Do we have people to whom we are accountable to, who guide us and tell us, yes, this is good, this we can do better in this way, this one just go, don't even look back? So accountability, putting up accountability, personal accountability structures, but also structures our youth platforms that will enable us to know our progress and how we see. Then finally, we have so much energy and we do so much and we forget to, I said finally when I talked about accountability. This one just came. Finally. um, we forget to sit down, reflect, and celebrate the wins that we have made. I mean, some of us, like I know for you, you started as a child advocate. Look at you. Do you sit down and really just look at your journey and appreciate your journey and say, I have done work and there's more that I need to do? Yes, there's more, but appreciate yourself. Well, as you do this, it gives you encouragement, it gives you motivation, it makes you stay grounded to see that this is what I've been able to achieve, and if I remain consistent, this is what I'm able to achieve. So sit back and take a moment to reflect on, this is what I have done, this is what I could have done better, and this is where I am going. It really, really helps a lot in helping drive the agenda forward as young people.
Wow. I I I don't even have a comment. I had comments and then he took all of them. You see, but yes, but then it is very much important for like young people to actually engage with each other, man. Like for example, if you, there is an African proverb which says that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, travel together. So so most definitely, man, we must
Yeah.
basically like work together, um, and and remember that we are in this together, man. As I'm always saying to my radio team, is like there's a very very nice saying. I'm not gonna say where it's from, but then if you're an Eminem fan, you know it. It, it basically says that knowledge is power, but powerless if we got it and do not acknowledge it. Right. So basically, it means like this you can be having the like the knowledge, but then if you don't share that knowledge, it's pointless. Like, what's the point of it being there? Because you're not gonna share
Yeah.
it. So which actually brings me to my next question actually, which is like, what advice do you actually have for young people who want to start like advocating uh, for online safety in their communities? Yes, give me flowers as an advocate in my own right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate those flowers. Uh, but but then like the thing that we must know is that like there is always you mentioned in the previous workshop that the most difficult thing to do is basically getting started. Like, yes, you can be having these ideas, but you actually taking a step, being like, okay, now I am starting. So, like, what advice do you actually have for our fellow young people that are actually interested in like joining us in advocating for online safety?
Yes. One thing that I think I would say three things. And three things. Number one, you matter. For everyone who will listen to this, might be a young person, might be an elderly person, you need to understand and know that you matter. You need to understand that your voice matters. Your voice matters in this time, in this generation. If you don't speak up, there will be people who will speak up, but will be missing the unique value addition of your voice. So number one, as young people, you need to know that you matter, and it is your contribution that will actually create change. So if you're looking at starting and getting into this field, you need to convince yourself first before you convince other people that you matter and your voice actually matters. And why does it matter? We've talked about you're not going into a space speaking of emotions. We've talked about being educated, empowered, engaged, networked, having accountability, being mentored. So if you've gone through this, your voice matters, because you just don't want to be another noisemaker out there, you know. So if you have something to share with the world, it matters, and you need to share that. You're never too small to start. You don't need the big stages to go to the UN share. Change begins where you are at. And how? Start talking about what you're passionate about with your family. It's online safety, or it's another thing you want to advocate as a young person. Start talking. Talk until your people in your house say, you have bored us. Please take your ranting elsewhere. Talk, 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 talk until it becomes part of your DNA. That if you're woken up from, if you're talking about online safety, it's something that you're so well versed with until you can speak about it. So when you convince yourself that you matter and your voice matters, then you'll be able to share it. Because also, just being very honest, starting is not easy, because also there's the backlash that comes. You might start a podcast, and nowadays in social media, we talked about cyberbullying and harassment, and you will find very negative comments. An example is the one you're giving for the Miss South Africa participant who had to drop off because she was doing something very noble, but the negative comments were too much on them. So these things will also come for you. Not the other bit is, not everyone will love what you're doing. Some people will think you're wasting time. Some people won't understand even why you're going online to advocate. And it's not within your purview to make them understand. What's within your circle of control is to ensure you're really good at what you're doing, and you're articulating that which you want to do in a manner that is makes people in a manner that brings out the point that you want. So if people choose to misunderstand you, and you've done your best to bring it out without moving with a point of offense, it's not your responsibility. And I know we've had this many times. People say, if you want people to love you, become an ice cream seller. Otherwise, you go on with your work, the backlash will come. Because I've also seen young people start, and when the backlash comes, the hate and the bullying comes, they draw back. So expect that it will be there. But if you convince yourself your voice matters, when it comes, you will go. You will be like, I am heading through. These other things will just be noises on the sidelines, and you'll not be on the sidelines. Number two, there's a lot that young people can do. Let me share my own personal experience. When I started, I was really passionate about reaching out to communities, using my youth, the energy I have as a young people. And I used to do a from community advocacy. This would be health campaigns, would be mental wellness, would be all these many things that are there. As a young person, you have the opportunity to explore. And as you continue exploring, find that one or two or three things or 10, but that one thing that you're really good at, that you can hone in and start building skills on that. If you build skills on that, then someone who's talking about everything. If it's on digital safety, if you're passionate about AI, look at the AI and implications of digital safety on young people and children and become an expert in that. When you're called to talk about digital safety, you're not wandering and biting your words. You know what you're saying. So hone your skills. Hone your skills in these things that you're passionate about. Now, that is something that also is helping me a lot. I'm in the process. I continue to do that, noticing that yes, advocacy and youth advocacy is amazing. And as I move further along, this is what I'm really good at. So how do I hone on that? That's the second. Number three, the last bit, and I know we are drawing to our close. Yes, the other day I shared a reflection. Someone shared with me a reflection. Someone shared with me an email, and within that email was I wrote it down so that I just read word for word.
Okay.
She said, "Your voice is not something you have to earn. It is something you already carry." So if you're a young person listening to me today, your voice is not something you have to earn. It'll take some process for you to build to get to where you see, to reach policymakers, to do this big impact that you want to achieve. It may take, but your voice, the experience, the skills, the building is something that you may need to go progressively. But your voice, it's not something you have to earn. It's you already have it. So you need to be empowered within yourself to believe and say, I can use my voice for change. And your, as I said, your voice matters. So speak confidently. And when you're speaking, one thing I would also love to echo and just highlight that whatever you speak out of your mouth can either, we say it can either bring life or death. It can build or break. So even as you're entering, you're a young person who desires to enter into different spaces. Remember that you can either build or break with your voice, with the words that you speak. So everything that comes out of this initiative that you're doing, let it not be this is for me, I want to show my voice, I want to do all that. There is that will come. And you know the way you have built your, I'm using you as an example because I've had your back, you've shared a bit of your background with me. So over time your voice has grown because you have used it and used it for good. So even as you get into these spaces, do not be selfish. Go into it knowing that you're going to serve humanity. If you go in with a bit of serving humanity and solving a problem that humanity has, you will find that your voice even gets a lot of meaning. Your voice gets a lot of weight. And when you speak, you're speaking out of weight. You're not speaking out of just any other thing. And slowly by slowly, you're going to grow. Remember, Rome was not built in one day. And if you fail to do something, you'd rather do and fail. But if you decide to sit down because you anticipate you're going to fail, you've already failed. So young people, go and do that which you believe you have been called to do because you are empowered, you have the voice to do that, and you can create a ripple effect of change. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you really said a mouthful. Eh? um, so in your bio, you actually mentioned that you work with the Brave Movement. So I want to know, like, how does Brave Movement, excuse me, how does Brave Movement work globally to create like safe spaces for children?
Yes, so I'm going to share that, and I'm also going to share details of how you can get involved. Brave Movement is a global movement of survivors. These are adult survivors of sexual violence who decide enough is enough. They use their voice and they use their experience as technical expertise to show that these are the gaps that are there. So it's a global movement of survivors of sexual violence. We are in Africa, we are in Europe, Latin America, the US, and it is a movement. The thing is not an organization. The thing about a movement is that it is made of people. People are the ones who drive the movement. So these are survivors and people who are allies. You may not have been a survivor of sexual violence, but this cause is dear to you and you want to support the cause. So it is also that movement of allies. So what Brave Movement is we work with, like for let me give the example of Africa. There's already work that is ongoing here in Africa. One of the things we have as a challenge, even in tackling, in protecting, in child protection, and even in international development, is people working in silos. There is no multi-sectoral collaboration. So Brave Movement does not bring a new addition. We do not come to South Africa and say we want to start our project. We know that there are already initiatives ongoing, but some of these initiatives might be scattered. People are working alone. So Brave Movement is that thread that comes to tie all these things together and bring them together in a network which feeds into the movement. And through the work that you do as a youth advocate, through the work of another organization, this other organization doing programming in maybe let's say the villages or the communities itself. So through that work, through your advocacy online, through different things, we're able to put out a united message and a united front to protect children. So whereas you may not be doing the ground implementation, we are putting together started efforts. And you said rightly, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go with people. And that is what the Brave Movement is doing. Together, coming together, concerted efforts in protecting our children. And the programming would look different in Kenya. There could be an organization that is part of the Brave Movement that now works with children themselves. There could be one focusing on policy advocacy. There could be one focusing on healing and justice. So that's how we approach matters as joining. You can just search. You can go and search. I'm back, right? Yes. You can go to www.bravemovement.org and there's a get involved section. It has information on how you can join as an individual member, how you can mobilize people within your community to join the platform, join a platform, what are the resources available. We also offer what is it called? We also offer resources that can, if you want to learn about media engagement when it comes to supporting survivors of sexual violence, there's that bit. If there are also mental wellness support that we offer there, safeguarding. So there's really a lot that you can learn from the website to see what you can do from where you are at from our website. So as I said, it's www.bravemovement.org, or you can also reach out to me on my Instagram handle. You can also reach out to me on LinkedIn, Noelle Museshi. We'll be able to I'll be able to guide you and support you on how to go about
Right. Thank you very much for sharing that. And I know that I actually dragged you here, and you actually are supposed to be in school now.
it.
So yeah, just to like wrap up, right? If you had like one message to send to basically a young person, not only in South Africa but then like in Africa, basically like continental, um, what would it be?
Oh my. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a really good one. And I love questions that make you really think critically and think. Yeah, I had one day that I was telling the young people in the African continent, what would that be? I would tell the young people of the African continent, number one, Africa is beautiful. And Africa, all this, we've been, for a long time, we've been talking about, oh, development, oh, na na na. There are all these challenges that Africa faces, but Africa is beautiful. And there's no better place to be as an Africa than Africa. Number two, all those good things we see in the global minority, all the infrastructure and all that, they came from the people who are driving the agenda. So the young people in this African continent, Your time is now. In fact, your time started before. We are way, or we are somewhere at that time. Your time is now. If you're a young person listening to me, within you is the power, the ability, the skill to be that change that you want to see for the continent. You may not have a global platform now, but use, as I said, there's power in your voice. Use your voice up, and those changes that we want to see and we so admire, and we say, oh, I want to go to, let me use just a random city. There's no I want to go to, maybe let's say Paris, because what may our narrative from I want to go to this place too. I want to develop, let me use for example Nairobi. That Nairobi will be that city that I want to use. So young people, your time is now. And just a quick note, do you know by 20 Africa will have the most, Africa will be the youngest continent. In what way? We will have the highest majority of young people. The projection is around 400 billion. And what does 400 billion look like? If every African young person shows up in Europe for a concert, Europe will not be enough to hold every young African person for a concert. So see the power and the potential that you have as Africa and leverage on that, capitalize on that. And I believe 2030 or 2063 will have shifted the narrative for our children, because we have the power and we can do what we want to see. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Noel. And then lastly, uh, what three things, right, can we do starting from today, starting from today,
Yeah.
to ensure that the internet is safer for ourselves and for the others?
Sorry, what three things that?
What three things can young people and actually like even ourselves can
Yeah.
start doing starting from today, starting from now, immediately when we end this life, what can we start doing to ensure that like the internet is safer, it's safer for ourselves and for the others that like that are
Yes,
using
yes.
it?
Number one, take personal responsibility. If you, after watching this, number one, check your interactions online, even for yourself. Have you put privacy features that protect you? Is your location, for example, always on that people can know this and this? So take personal responsibility. That is number one. Number two, I've said, if there's something that has really resonated, use your voice. Number two, speak up. If you see that there's something that is wrong, use your voice to advocate. Speak and say it's not the right way to do it. Speak up. Do not remain in the face of injustice. They say if you see injustice silent, you're you're part of the oppressor. You're supporting the. So there is no room for us to be mediocre and be in between. When you see that an injustice is happening, when you see that something is not right, and the last bit that I will say is instead, and now we're talking about, we have these cons that come with it. The last bit is now, instead of the bad that the internet brings, leverage on this, the challenges we have. For example, the challenge of online grooming, and sit down. What are the solutions to it? They say some of the richest people did not become rich because they were doing out of the ordinary things. They were just problem. We are seeing that the internet poses a challenge with online safety. So, as young people, what are some of the solutions to this? And who knows? This could be, people are talking about Elon Musk and who else? This Facebook guy, Zuckerberg. He started because of just one opportunity. So you can use this social media that has so many demerits, and you can leverage on that to create solutions that will even benefit. So, and that's prior to what the last is, be proactive. So let me say it very quickly. I'm buffering.
Can, yes, you're buffering. I lost you like 2 seconds
Okay.
ago, like two sentences ago.
Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yes, now you're okay.
So the three things that take home that young people do, that I said when it talks about keeping ourselves online. Number one, take up personal responsibility. Number two, speak up about online safety and dangers that frustrated with that. Speak up when things are not working. Number three, be proactive. Find solutions.
All right.
Being on the other end.
This is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. Yes, I'm actually in a youth center right now, and I'm with a young person right now. So the what you use is not up. Okay.
You're really putting
Okay. So
that, yeah.
yes. So thank you very much, Noel. I really, really appreciated this. I know we've been pushing this for the past 3 months, and thank you very much for finally doing it. I really hope that you can actually like have more engagement like this one. Remember, you mentioned the part of consistency, right? So we'll definitely be consistent. I'll still be pushing you for us to engage more. And yes, I'll go back to the drawing board. I'll look at the steps of how we did it. And yes, and to everyone who attended, thank you very much. And well, I really, really appreciate you. I owe you one. I owe you one. I appreciate you.
When I come to the next time I'm in South Africa, I will look for you so that you support with local tourism. I'm just joking. You don't
No
owe.
problem. No problem. No problem. Just say when, I'll definitely be there.
I'm just joking. That's on a light note. But also, thank you for the invite. It's truly a joy for me to share my own experience. It is going to support a young person. Definitely don't owe me. This is how we are building Africa for Africans. So thank you so much. Thank you for having me. All the best in your advocacy. Continue blazing a trail. In case you need anything, you know how to reach me. So thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who joined in and listened. Have a good day.
All right, thank you very much, Noel. Yes, I'll definitely keep in touch with you, and to everyone who joined, thank you very much. I really love and appreciate you guys. This video will be trimmed and uploaded to the Amplifiers YouTube page, so that if you missed it, you can actually catch it there. And I'll also keep it on all my platforms so that you guys can actually engage with it. And if you have comments, don't be afraid to leave them. I'll even wait Noel up to come and read the comments. So on that note, good people, thank you very much. It's been nice having you. Let me go back and celebrate Child for Week with this children, because this child was just here to ask me where am I, because I said I'm coming now. So on that note, thank you very much. Let me hand over to the children. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, good people. Yeah, that was it. The live was nice. It was fantastic. Thank you to everyone who joined. I appreciate it, like from the deepest part of my heart. I actually appreciate you guys. And yeah, another one in the bag. We did it. Now let's go play with children. And that's it. And